Hi everybody. Thank you for joining. Today I'd like to talk about my adventure with buying a new plant. So I accidentally killed my peperomia aquito, and I don't want to talk too much about that. It was a tragedy, and from tragedy sometimes comes the ability to buy a new plant. So I decided I was going to go to Lowe's and Home Depot today. And when I went to Lowe's, I went there first, I found this Pothos. I must have in my lifetime had Pothos in the past, but I just don't really recall. I mean, they're everywhere. You can find them in almost every store. You can find them in every big box shop, in every nursery. My understanding of the plants I've been exposed to is that they're very hardy plants, and you will be able to grow them really well. I think one of their nicknames is the Devil's Ivy because of how they grow constantly. And if they're well taken care of, they will just grow and grow and grow forever. This I didn't want this plant at first because the fact that it's a hanging planter. Even though it's a nice looking hanging planter, don't get me wrong, it's very nice looking, but I don't have any place to hang a hanging planter. So that was a downside for me at first. I mean, obviously I did end up buying it. The other downside for me was the price. This altogether was $25, and my thought was I should be able to get a Pothos for much cheaper. And so I went over to Home Depot and I looked around. Now they had one out there that was similar to this, but not quite this beautiful. This is just such a gorgeous specimen. The variegation on it is so striking, and each leaf is so different. I was just thrilled to find this. The other thing I really like about it is it's already got, some nice vining where leaves are growing in, so that if at a later time it vines too much, I could either train it to grow up the wall, or I could cut it off and make cuttings, propagations. So I went over to Home Depot and I looked around. Like I said, they did have Pothos. But they had some that were just green. They had some that were speckled, but had a lot of green in it. So it looked like to me it easily reverted, or it just wasn't this particular kind. So I was like, okay, I don't really want them. I often prefer smaller plants to begin with. This is very big, but it also looks really healthy. I like to grow some things, from a small starter plant and then create something huge and beautiful, rather than maybe starting huge and beautiful, because this definitely meets that bill of huge and beautiful. What I did find over at Home Depot was various plants, and I think I'll add in some pictures so that you can see what those plants look like. There was a very interesting agave. I didn't buy that because I just don't feel like I have the correct setup to grow agave. But it was unique agave, very pretty. I found a fuzzy Tradescantia, but I have a bad feeling that thing, I probably would kill it. So I just didn't buy it. It was small and it was cheap. And even though it was cheap, it was like $6. I just don't see the point of buying a plant that's almost destined for the garbage can. I'm sorry. I thought better of it and I just didn't do it. I found some other plants as well that I just found really pretty. A couple I didn't know exactly what they were. I just went around and took some pictures of leaves. I'm one of those people who really enjoys plant shopping videos where the creators go around and they take videos and they tell you prices and things like that. But I'm just not one of those people who is comfortable doing that in public. So I didn't do that myself, but I took some stills that I'll insert in the video so that you can see what they look like. In the end, when I didn't find what I was looking for, I went back and I bought this. What I'm going to try to do with it is, figure out what kind of planter it should go in. I'm probably in a nursery pot. It is. It's in a nursery pot within another planter. I'll probably find and that planter doesn't have a drainage hole. So what I might do is find it a pot with a drainage hole. Make sure that the roots are healthy. I'll put it in well-draining aeroid mix. I'll put it high up so that I can train it to grow up the wall in the future, and I will take a video of that or a picture of that, depending when I get it all sorted out. Just have another look at this beautiful variegation on this lovely plant. Okay, I just wanted to show you the pot. Now that I've taken the plant out of the pot, such a pretty thing, and I'll definitely hang on to it. Like I said, it does not have a drainage hole, so you can use it as a cover pot, and maybe eventually I will do that. I do have plans to have hanging planters in the future. I just don't have any right now, so this definitely was worth the price. Okay. Pulled the plant out of the pot and it really wasn't too bad. The roots look okay. It actually did kind of outgrow the pot that it was in, so the pot that I'm putting in is a little bit bigger to give it room to expand. I've made up a little bit more potting soil with a lot of perlite and some bark. But I will say that I didn't do too much to what the plant currently has. I know that I'm voted most likely to critique nursery soil, but this wasn't bad. It's like it's got a lot of perlite, it's got some airiness, it's still a little bit wet, and the tag says water it once a week. So I think with what I'm doing here and repotting it, it's going to be pretty good for the plant. Okay, so this is where I have ended up putting this plant. It is on top of what I would consider my plant stand. It might get some direct light at one point, but if it does, it won't be very much. This gives me the ability to allow it to climb at a later date. I've bought little plant clips that will help in that endeavor, and hopefully my little beauty will enjoy it over here. I did do a little lookup to see if I could figure out what it was, and I think this may actually be a marble queen. So I'm a happy camper. I got me a new marble queen pothos, repotted in a nice pot, with future plans to train it to climb up the wall. So that concludes this episode. Thank you all for joining, and have a good rest of your day.